This is Evangelist Henry Walker. Thank you for tuning into our podcast today. Today's a special day. It's the first day of the Feast of Dedication, or Hanukkah. And as I mentioned, there's 8 days of Hanukkah, and this is the first day. And there's blessings each and every day of this Hanukkah Feast of Dedication time. And the first blessing he wants to give us today are miracles. Miracles, they never make sense, but they're all from the Father. But before we do, let's have a word of prayer. Father, I thank you for another opportunity. Father, I thank you for another opportunity to minister to your people. Use me for your glory, Father. And you have your way in this podcast today, and every podcast I do, in the mighty name of Yahshua. But turn me to 1 Kings chapter 9. I want to give you some more of the background of the Feast of Dedication. If you haven't listened to my podcast on the Feast of Dedication versus Christmas, it's very, very important. Because the enemy wants Christmas to kind of blot out Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication. It's just so very important, the Feast of Dedication. It's the one feast day where Yahshua said that he was the Father manifest in the flesh. And you can read my messages on Christmas and Easter and Valentine's Day. You need to search it for yourself and find out all those pagan holidays have roots in paganism, in Satan. And you need to get them out of your life. Don't participate. As I mentioned, October 31st, December 25th, and January 1st are satanic high holy days where he wants to abduct and kill children. So you study it, and you pray about it. But in 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 3, 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 3, this is where Solomon had dedicated the temple, and he asked a certain prayer request, and here's how the Father answered him in verse 3. And Yahweh said unto him, I've heard your prayer and your supplication that thou hast made before me. I've hallowed this house, which thou hast built, to put my name there forever, and my eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. That's a promise from the Father to Solomon. And see, this Feast of Dedication is a time of the Father fulfilling long-awaited promises. Miracles that don't make sense. Miracles that you've been waiting on for years, 20 years, 30 years. And this is a special time, and it's been blocked by Constantine and that spirit of Antichrist from so many believers rushing to these holidays that are roots in Satan and missing the Father's feast days, beautiful feast days. And all those feast days, it sounds so Jewish, but they are Jewish because Yahshua is a Jew. And it's important that you go back, gravitate back to his feast days and leave this holiday junk out of your life. And especially with that, bringing beer, wine, and alcohol into your house, into your body, giving place to the devil. If you're keeping these holidays and bring that junk into your house, the devil's there. And little by little by little, he's going to try to take over the family. So it's really up to you. I'm just sharing with you from the Father. And so this is a promise. And so in John chapter 10, Gospel of John chapter 10, he really wants to do miracles in your life today because you obeyed him and tuned into this podcast. 8 days, as I mentioned, each day is a special blessing. It'll go right to December 6th, Monday, each night. And it won't be long, short messages, but right to the point. In John chapter 10, verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the Feast of Dedication, and it was winter, and Yahshua walked in the temple on Solomon's porch. Then came Jews around about him and said unto him, How will you make us to doubt? If you be the Messiah, tell us plainly. And here, he's fulfilling a long-awaited promise from the Father to Solomon by walking in the temple. And Yahshua is his name, his heart, and his eyes. And they had the nerve to ask him, show us. It was right in front of them. Yahshua answered them, I told you and you believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. But you believe not because you are not of my sheep. And I said unto you, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father which gave them me is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. And they took up stones because he said he was the Father manifest in the flesh. This is the one feast where he openly proclaimed that. Verse 37, If I do not the works of my Father, believe me not. But if I do, though you believe not me, believe the works, that you may know and believe that the Father's in me, and I in him. It's like an iceberg in the ocean. The ocean's in the iceberg. The iceberg's in the ocean. And the iceberg is the form to the ocean. That's what he's talking about. Yahshua is the Father manifest in the flesh. From Genesis to Revelation, beyond and way before the beginning, it's all about the Father. what he said he was going to do came in Yahshua. Yahshua went back, put his blood on the mercy seat of heaven, and the Father came back and put his Spirit inside of us to enable us to be holy. It's that simple. 2 books on my website about Trinity, really a mystery. And then Noon, on the bottom of my message page, Noon is another book talking about different hours of the day, the feast days, and how the day runs from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's so beautiful. So you can get those books just by going to my website and reading them on the bottom of my message page. We have to get back to the Father's timing. We have to get back. It's so essential. How essential it is, I don't know, but I wouldn't want to base my salvation on not going back, because everything is about the Father. His timing is impeccable. And I want to see you all get to heaven. We all want to get to heaven. We want to sit right in front of Him and look at Him throughout eternity. But we have to turn our flesh over to Him so we can mortify the deeds of our flesh, Romans 8, verse 13, and verse 29, that He would conform us to the image of Yahshua. It's so very important that you turn everything over to Him. And then everything that He has is at our disposal, as long as our character can hold the blessings. That's what Hanukkah is all about. I also mentioned about in 167 BC, Antiochus IV Epiphanes, he came into Jerusalem, desecrated the temple, got everything Jewish out of there, put his idols in there. He put a statue of Zeus with his face on it. But the Maccabees rose up, and they got more people with them, and after the 3-year war, they drove them all out. And they only had enough oil to burn for one night in the temple. That lasted 8 days. And that's kind of the origin of feast dedication, along with Solomon's dedication. And that's why it's a time of special miracles. And the first miracle we want to talk about today is in 2 Kings. Receive your miracle today. I know some of this is brand new to you, but we really got to study it. Constantine did his best. The spirit of Antichrist did his best to get everything Jewish out of the early Christianity, make Rome to be Christianized, brought the feast that they had, Saturnalia, which was December 17th to the 25th, into Christianity. And said, not only that, we don't know when Yahshua was born, so we'll make December 25th, which is the end of your Saturnalia, to be his birth. It's all planned in the enemy to divert people. And if you read on my message page, first and second message is, when was Yahshua born? When did he die? When did he rise? He was born on Passover, died on Passover, exactly 33 years old. That's a powerful message. 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 5. But as one was felling a beam, the axe head fell into the water, and he cried and said, Alas, master, for it was borrowed. And the man of Yahweh said, Where did it fall? And he showed him the place, and he cut down a stick, and cast it thither, and the iron did swim. Therefore he said, Take it up to you, and he put out his hand, and he took it. Wow, what a miracle. It's impossible for an axe head to swim, but Yahweh did it. Whatever you're facing today, it sounds like it could be impossible in the natural, but not to the Father. All He wants is you. And if He has you, you surrender to Him, there's no telling what He could do in your life. Doesn't matter how long it's been. Maybe you gave up on it. Maybe you're still holding on to it. He wants to move for you today. That's why He has me talking to you. I'm hearing from Him to talk to you. This first day is a time of miracles. Miracles don't make sense. Miracles that maybe you gave up on. This is a miracle that his axe head would swim to the top. And all because the stick was thrown into the water. An anointed stick. Well, I'm anointed by the Father to tell you this. Please, talk to Him by getting these holidays out of your life. Get them out of your life. They're all satanic in origin. The enemy wants to abduct and kill children, and keep your children away from that. Hanukkah, or Feast of Dedication, is an 8-day feast. Again, it starts on November 28th and ends on December 6th. Kislev, 25th. You can look at my website at henrywalker.org on the biblical calendar. Click on Heap Cal on the top, and where it says create a calendar, just make sure that all Hebrew dates is checked off, and you're right into the calendar. You look at Kislev 25. And this year, it starts on Sunday, the 28th, and ends on following Monday, the 6th. So each day is special blessings. I want you to receive your miracle today. As long as you turn everything over to Him, you can get blessed today. Like you could be waiting for a long time, like I said, but it's here for you. Go with me to Psalm 107, verse 25, talking about Yahweh. Incidentally, I use Yahweh because that's His name. 7,000 times in the Old Testament, the King James or King James people put Lord capitalized instead of Yahweh. And Lord comes from Baal. Baal's above the Lord of the Flies. Check it out in the Bible Dictionary. And I have a message on my website about origin of names. how so many names had their basis, their roots, in paganism. His name is Yahweh is an action verb, and when you surrender everything to him, he actively moves for you. Yahshua is his son's name because of the Y-A-H. Y-A-H-W-H is Yahweh. Y-A-H-S-S-U-A is his name. He said, I've manifested your name. He has an inherited name, it says in Hebrews. So that's his name. So much power. And Yahweh is an action verb, and when you surrender everything to him, he actively moves for you. In verse 25, talking about Yahweh, for he commanded and raised the stormy wind, which lifted up the waves thereof. They mount up to the heaven, they go down again to the depths. Their soul is melted because of trouble. They reel to and fro, and stagger like a drunken man, and are at their wits' end. Then they cry unto Yahweh in their trouble, and he bring them out of their distresses. He maketh the storm a calm, so that the waves there are still. And they are glad because they be quiet, so he bringeth them into desired haven. See, he creates storms, and he puts down the storm so he gets the glory. Remember, all principalities, powers, and mights and dominion are made by him and created for him. And by him all those things consist. He's above all. He's the father of all spirits. He controls the devil. And if there's a wind coming against, because the Father's trying to get your attention. If you surrender yourself to the Father, allow him to mortify the deeds of your flesh, conform you to the image of Yahshua, and bring the fruit of the Spirit out of your life. If the devil comes against you, he is just delivering a message that the area that he's attacking is the area that the Father wants to bless you next. But if you're not sold out to the Father, the devil's attacking because he has a right to be there. And it says in Ephesians 4:26, 4:27, don't give place to the devil. So it's very important that you see that the Father controls everything. Everything was created by him and for him, and by him all things consist, whether it be thrones, principalities, mights, dominions, all created by him and for him, by him all things consist. So this is really a prophetic word, because if you go with me to the book of Matthew chapter 8, verse 23, and when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. Behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. Now, this tempest arose because the Father wanted it to arise. And he was in the boat. And his disciples came to him and said, and awoke him, saying, Yahshua, save us, we perish. Just like we just read in the Psalms. They're saying to Yahweh, we perish. And he said unto them, this is Yahweh in the boat. And he said unto them, why are you fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there's a great calm. And the men marveled, and saying, what manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? Wow. And then he came to the land of the Gergesenes, and two possessed with the devils, and cast the devils out of them. The storm didn't stop him. Nothing can stop him from giving you your miracle today. They needed a miracle. The two that were possessed with devils needed a miracle. They need deliverance. This miracle is for you today. All he wants is complete access to your life. The filling of the Spirit of the Father, as on the day of Pentecost in Jerusalem, was to sanctify us, to put us on a road of sanctification, to make us holy. And that's why his manifestation is called the Holy Spirit. And sure, we can speak in tongues. Sure, we can move in the gifts of the Spirit. But it's really to help us to get to heaven. And so he points that out in your life. He wants the ability to get it out of your life. Don't hold on to anybody or anything. Surrender it all to him. And so this may be you. You may be in a storm coming against you. It doesn't seem to be ending. Well, the Father can end it. All he wants for you to do is surrender to him, and he'll stop the storm. And Matthew chapter 14, we'll just cover this. And then we'll pray for you. In verse 24, Matthew 14, verse 24, but the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. In the fourth watch of the night, Yahshua went unto them walking on the sea. The fourth watch of the night is 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. It starts from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., 9 p.m. to midnight, midnight to 3 a.m., 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. This is the darkest part of the night, and maybe you in the darkest part of your night. But see, the Father is walking right on your problem right now. He's above that problem. He controls it. He's trying to bring you closer to him. But he can do a miracle for you right now if you surrender to him. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is the Spirit, and they cried out for fear. But straightway Yahshua spoke unto them and said, be of good cheer, be of good courage. It is I, be not afraid. He didn't say it is I. In the Greek, he said, I am, be not afraid. He's showing the people who he really is. He's the great I am. He's not one of the three. He is the Holy One. He's the Father manifest in the flesh. And Peter answered and said, Yahshua, if it be you, bid me to come upon the water. He said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahshua, but when he just sunk. In verse 31, immediately Yahshua stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? See, everybody in the boat had faith except Peter. They knew who Yahshua was and is, the great I am. So Peter didn't have the faith in who he is and tried to walk. And if you go back to Job 9 verse 8, you can write it down. The book of Job 9 verse 8, it only says that the Father can walk upon the waves of the sea. So he was trying to show them who he really is. Peter didn't get the lesson. He tried, he sunk. So Peter never walked on the water. Only the Father can walk upon the water. So we want to pray for you right now on this first day of Feast of Dedication. Tell other people about it tomorrow and for the next 7 days. There'll be special miracles each day. And today is time for miracles. Tomorrow's some other blessings. The next day is whatever he ordains. And this day he wants to do miracles that don't make sense, miracles that long-awaited miracles. And all he wants is you. So just say after me. Say a prayer. Say, Father, I believe that Yahshua died for me. I give my life to you. I repent of all my sins. Help me not to sin again. I want you to mortify the deeds of my flesh. Conform me to the image of Yahshua. Bring the fruit of the Spirit out of me. Come in and fill me with your Spirit. Bring me on that road of sanctification. Thank you for bringing me into your family. For everybody that's listening out there, you need that miracle. We all need miracles. But some of you have been long-awaited miracles. Just put your hand on the computer, on the phone, however you're listening. Just believe right now. Father, you told me to deliver this message today. Time of miracles. This is a day of special miracles. The people need miracles. There's people who haven't seen their sons and daughters in years because they ran away, whatever. You can bring them back, Father. Most important miracle you can do is bring people to the saving knowledge of you. And I pray that more people will say that prayer. I just ask people to pray about it, because it's so important to surrender everything to you. Oh, we thank you for it. It's so beautiful when we're resting in your arms. And I want more people to do that, Father. There's people, Father, that are losing their house, can't pay it. People no food. Touch them, Father. They need miracles, Father. They need miracles. People need miracles in their body. They need miracles in their lives. They need a job. But you're the Yahweh of miracles. You chose this special seasons for special miracles. You could do it any time. But this special season just shows that you, Father, came in the body, walked in Yahshua. Yahshua gave up his life for us. It's so beautiful. And you came in through our spirit. You abode there. You lived there. And we thank you for that. You changed us into the image of Yahshua. So, Father, touch people out there right now. Do a miracle that they'll be talking about for years. We'll be talking throughout eternity. Do a miracle for them, Father. Bring people closer and open up people's eyes to the pagan influence in their lives. And we thank you, and let them read my messages on wine as a marker, how one glass of wine will affect their brain cells, and they have to really study and get these traditions that are not in your word out of their lives, Father. That's a big miracle for a lot of people. You get them on the right track. There's so many people that love you out there, Father, but they've just been taught things erroneously. And it's important, Father. They didn't know any better. They need to listen to what I'm saying, Father, and study it. And we just give you the glory for the miracles that are flowing on them right now, Father. As only you can do it, Father. I speak those miracles. And me and my wife, our ministry, our lives, other people in the remnant. Those are who surrender everything to you are in the remnant, Father. It's not in the majority, it's in the minority. So many people love the big churches, these big congregations, these big assemblies. And the reason why they're big is because they compromise, Father. Bring more pastors up that will preach the truth, Father, and not anything with pagan customs and pagan roots. So, Father, we thank you, we love you, and worship you. And open up people's hearts to this Feast of Dedication. Let them read my written message, my audio message, and let them really understand about this Feast of Dedication, that we need to dedicate our temples to you afresh. Solomon dedicated the temple. Yahshua walked in the temple, answered the prayer. So, Father, answer people's prayers today, Father. And we give you the glory in the name of Yahshua. So remember, you can access me on my website at henrywalker.org, my podcast. my YouTube channel. If you want to donate to us, it's on my message page on my website. We help feed the hungry in Bahamas, and we have other ministry courses if you want to help. Also, if you want to email me, just go to my website, henrywalker.org, click on contact, and there's a link to email. We'd love to hear from you. But remember, take this miracle today and surrender everything to Him. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Receive that miracle today, or miracles, in the name of Yahshua. Remember to next time, this is Evangelist Henry Walker saying, greater is the Father in you than He is in the world.